Welcome to O Talkin' with Dave. Put your hands together for the pastor of positivity whose glass is always at least half full. Here's Dave.
Hey, how we doing out there? Whew, came in a little loud. Sorry, that's why I don't wear headphones. Sometimes I'm too much for my own ears. So I hope you're doing great. I am top shelf and ready to go. Today's topic, at some points it may sound negative, but it's really a positive message. It's entitled Knock on Wood. And that idiom comes from all different sources. I've heard it my whole life, knock on wood. They say something good, knock on wood. I heard everything from people used to hit on a tree to wake up the wood fairies. Yeah, that's not what we're doing. This is just anytime you say something hopefully or negatively or whatever, you knock on wood just for good luck. That's what we're doing here. Because what we're talking about today is we all have that list of things, whether it's in the news or you hear it mostly on the news because the news is mostly bad news. If it's news at all, but don't let me go down that rabbit hole. But when you hear it, it's things that happen to other people. Yeah, that doesn't happen to you. That happens to other people. We say that with a lot of confidence. Like we've got some private barrier around us. We're in a bubble that protects us from all these other things. But honestly, life doesn't really care about your bubble or your assumptions. It's an equal opportunity attacker at times. And it's unpredictable. Absolutely. Young people I know, goodness, 10 feet tall and bulletproof, they think they're invincible. Middle-aged folks, they think they're established and got their stuff together. And then older adults, like myself, we feel like we've seen it all. What else? And then every once in a while we get surprised. Yeah. So this talk is about preparing for the bad, also positioning yourself for the good, but staying grounded no matter what happens. When life turns you upside down, for better or worse. So we're going to start out talking a little bit about the negative. We can take the positive, but most of the time when we do this, we think about the negative. So I've done some research about the top 10 things that people think won't happen to them. Okay? I've got the big 5, and then I've got 10 more, so there's a total of 15. But the big 5, first thing is identity theft. Every 22 seconds, somebody becomes a victim. And it's not tied to any particular age group. Nobody's special or protected or immune to it. Been there many times. That's anything from having your total identity stolen to where you have to redo everything to you lose your wallet, which I do a lot. My son-in-law, B-Dog, has got me one of those cards. It's like a tracker thing, and he was so proud because I had a little incident recently and lost my wallet. Canceled everything, license, credit cards, everything. Ordered all new stuff. Then I found my wallet. So he's trying to help me out. Somebody's got to. But identity theft. You hear all that stuff. And a lot of times it's because, everything from, there's a lot of different things. But it's marketing. They want you to sign up for something and all that. Hey, I have been a member of that stuff and still am. And it's a lifesaver in that situation. But still, that's considered things that happen to other people. Another one, car theft. More than 1 million vehicles in the United States were stolen last year. No, and it's not just in the bad neighborhoods. Trust me. I had that one too. Christmas Day, my Toyota Tacoma. The whole family was stranded. Yeah, hey, but that's the kind of things that, who gets their car stolen? When I started telling people the story, that happened to my brother. I had the same thing. It's pretty common. But yet we think that happens to other people. Then you got either get your heart broken or divorce or something like that. That's one of the big 5 for sure. 45% of marriages End. And heartbreak is universal without any tie to any age. That's the kind of things that happens to other people. Not really. After 37 years of marriage, boom, you think I've never had my heart broken. No, I've been with the same woman my whole life. 37 years later, boom. So don't say it can't happen to you. Job loss. You got it made, man. They can't survive without me. I'm too valuable here. 40% of the working force at any given time will face a layoff at least once during their career. Careers are not guaranteed, and especially with AI, with, population changes, technology, shifting markets, economies, all of that stuff. And I don't want anything of these things to happen to any of you. Trust me. And this is going to get better. I promise. But job loss, it's one of the big five. And then to round out the big five, a medical crisis. By age 60, 70% of us will face a major health issue. 70%. And I thought, hey, I'm 60. That didn't happen to me. It really did. I just got lucky or got away with it, or the timing was right, or something kept it from being worse. Yeah. It doesn't, just not just for old people either. Youth sells confidence, but not immunity. So those are the big five. And then 10 more. Home break-ins. Man, that's what happens to other people. Well, I remember when my parents had their home broke in, and just the violation they didn't take anything, but it's just the thought of them in their house. But that's another thing. That just happens to other people. Or you hear about people losing a lifelong friendship, whether in death or estrangement or whatever. I can't imagine that. Death, that's one thing, but living, I wouldn't let it happen. I'm not going to let it happen. And you're thinking, oh, Dave, you're blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. Don't say it can't happen to you, Dave. I need to listen to my own stuff here. Financial disaster is another one. Oh, man, I've got it made. I'm flush in my retirement, or I'm making X amount a year. Financial disaster happens a lot. And it's financial disaster, I would dare say, happens more to wealthy people than poor people, because poor people are almost there anyway. Yeah, I've not been wealthy, but I've been po. Becoming a caregiver suddenly, let me tell you, that's rough. It's taxing. And it can happen to you. And that's not just old parents. It could be a spouse. It could even be, God forbid, a child or a best friend. These are things that you don't even think about, but it could happen. Lawsuits. Boom. Out of the blue. Something you did or said or tried to do or say or... Oh, man, with this society and the litigious nature therein, lawsuits can come at you like, goodness, locusts. Hated to go Old Testament on you, but that's the first thing that came to mind. Mental health struggles. You've heard my take on it, and I think there's a lot of posers out there, but mental health struggles are real. I'll just say this. I went through it for the first time in my life this year. That wasn't emotion. I strangled on my own saliva. I went through mental health struggles this year, and some of the stuff I teach, I got to use. And I found out I got this. I'm strong. I can handle it. A lot of people aren't. And that's not me bragging or putting anybody else down. But some of the principles we talk about with O-Talks, it helps when those situations happen. And nothing wrong with breaking down, but don't break in half and get back up. But that's a different one. So sorry about that. Number 12, betrayal by someone you trusted. May be the worst feeling a human can have. Maybe. It's definitely up there. But hey, you think that person would never do that. That doesn't happen to me. Ouch. Natural disasters. Natural disasters. Now, I lived in California for a while. That's the land of the earthquakes, mudslides, and fires. I lived in the South and endured so many tornadoes. It's so funny that people from the South, for the most part, aren't scared of tornadoes because you have them all the time, but they're scared to death of earthquakes. People on the West Coast, earthquakes, it doesn't even interrupt your sentence. But, a tornado scares them to death. I got both. But that's also, you think, I'm used to it. It's never destroyed my home. It's never killed one of my loved ones. It's never blown away my trailer. But I know some people that it's done all of that to. Tidal waves, it can't hit me. I know some people who went to Thailand and were in that tidal wave. Natural disasters. I remember my ex-wife is scared to death of tornadoes. I remember we lived on Wilson Dam Road, and in the South, when there are tornadoes or any inclement weather, that's when the meteorologists, it's like their cue. It's like they're trying out for a movie. Oh, they are into it. They are animated. Oh, they're talking death tolls. They're wearing their sweater vests and getting all Doppler on your butt. But I remember they were doing all of that, and my wife was scared to death. And so she got her and the kids and went to a central closet in the house, screaming for me. And I'm watching Outlaw Josie Wells. Come on. And so I went out on the front porch, and I could see it over there. But it wasn't moving fast, and you can tell. And so finally, I go to the closet, and she says, "Thank goodness you came to your senses." I said, "No, the storm knocked the power out, and I can't watch Outlaw Josie Wells, and thought I'd come talk to y'all." So I'm not scared of it because I can't do anything about it. However, don't think it can't happen to you. Yeah. Addiction. So many people. And that addiction, either for you or someone close, if someone close to you is battling addiction, so are you. But that can be substance abuse. It could be gambling. People get addicted to all sorts of things. So it's dangerous to think that can't affect me. That can't happen to me. Yeah. Or some people, it's absolutely, they think they're impervious to a public embarrassment, or they think their reputation is such that untouchable. Whew, that is a slippery slope. And I've seen it. I've seen the unshakable shaken to their core. So I know this has been negative. I'm trying to make it somewhat light, but I'll tell you this, full disclosure. Within the last 5 years, I have had 11 of these 15 things happen to me. And I didn't think any of them ever would. I didn't. I was pretty sure. It could, but deep down, I didn't believe it. And these things, because you don't expect them, they happen to other people. They don't just hurt. Man, they stun you. It's like I don't think I've ever been tased, not while I was conscious, but stunned. Whoa, is this really happening? Because they catch you off guard. Thought we were exempt. So how do you prepare for them? David, we don't think they're going to happen to us. Why would we prepare? Just listen. There are ways to prepare for the possibility of bad things before it arrives, because it doesn't send you a notice saying we're coming. They don't give you warnings necessarily. So there's some things you can do. First of all, you can build buffers. If it's a financial thing, do something to build a buffer. Put some money back. If you don't have money, just plan for it in case something happens. Every little bit helps. But by doing that, by planning, when it hits, at least you're softening the blow. And emotionally is probably more important than anything. Because a lot of these things, they may have a physical toll. They may have a financial toll. But they all have an emotional toll. So this is where all of the things we talk about, having a strong circle around you, positive people with empathy in their lives. Another reason to be empathetic as well. You've probably helped people through these things. All right, that's good. That is an emotional buffer. It could be a financial buffer. So that's just a couple of things that to prepare before the bad news comes in. And then you strengthen some of the fundamentals. From establishing boundaries, we've talked about that a lot with people, with the do's and don'ts, the non-negotiables, all the way to, okay, is your insurance up to date? That could help with natural disasters. It could definitely helps with health type stuff. Cars, anything like that can happen. My goodness, when my truck was stolen, I had a check. It was during COVID. I had a check within a week. That horrible disaster, and I've covered some of this. It's not a disaster. It turns into a blessing many times. Sometimes you're not the victim, you're the beneficiary. Even down to, I had to do some things recently with everything from betrayal to identity theft, all of that. Just have a regular regimen of changing your passwords. Some of this stuff won't happen to you if you build these buffers in there and you strengthen your fundamentals. So there's things you can do to keep this stuff from happening to you. There's all sorts of, I talked about it earlier, insurance is not on. I remember in the day where identity theft or, my goodness, there were a bunch of them. When I used to listen to Rush, he had 4 or 5 of them, and it was all in case of this. Now they've got even somebody stealing your house, stealing your mortgage from you. You don't even know about it. They'll sell you something. And if that gives you peace of mind, go for it. Go for it. But there's some fundamentals out there you can do before the bad news arrives. Also, fundamentally, all the way down to contingency plans. My GPS I go to it because I know where I'm going. I know how to get there. I've been there 1,000 times. But I use the GPS, and it's usually fastest route because I'm impatient. But also that takes care of me. That takes care of a lot of things I didn't even have to do. My mom would be looking at a State Farm map and navigating while Dad would be driving, and that was built-in stuff. But even down to, I remember the kids, we told them, it was a quick little talk. I did it one time. Hey, if the house ever catches on fire and we say, go down to the street lamp at the end of the road. You got it? Okay. Years later, one of them asked me, okay, we moved, we're in a new place. Where do we go if the house catches on fire? I forgot we had a plan. They would have all been down there at the street lamp, and I would be in a burning house watching Outlaw Josie Wells or something. But have that stuff. Think about it. If this happens, what would we do? Now, don't dwell on it. Don't ruminate on it. When something bad does happen, what are you going to do to keep this from happening again, or when this happens again? So having a plan or a route or a contingency, that's a great thing to do before the bad news happens. One thing we can all do, let's maintain your health. Move. Be somewhat active, because physical health and mental health are tied together. You're going to be stronger physically, but stronger mentally, and be able to take that gut punch of whatever happens. And you can include some type of movement or exercise while you do stuff. I've started standing up a little bit when I work, but I don't do that a lot. But I do when I take conference calls, which I take way too many. If I'm not presenting, I'm just participating. I'll walk. I'll do it while I'm walking. And that helps. While I'm doing one, I do the other. I'm not going to tell you to diet and exercise and be some sort of health nut, but maintain your health intentionally. We're coming up on the first of the year. I don't know when you're going to see this, but the first of the year is a great time to start. A lot of people will start, but maintain. That helps with some of the things that are going to hit you that you don't expect. And then I got to tell you, practice self-awareness and emotional resilience. That sounds obvious or highfalutin, But no, understand you. Understand your vulnerabilities. Understand the things that get to you. And then becoming emotionally tough. Not just emotionally intelligent, but when the tough gets going, can you control your emotions? Because that is the key when the defecation hits the rotary oscillator. When you don't expect it, when you're hurt, but you're stunned. Oh, you got tased. You got hit with one of those bean bags. Whoa. If you're emotionally resilient, you're going to be able to take it a lot better. Yeah. So there's just a few things. Because I hate to say it, but I got to say it. Maybe not one of these 15 things, but something's going to happen. These things happen to somebody. And it happens to them when they least expect it. So I hope you get where I'm coming from on this, because I'm about to turn it, man. Let's talk about positive things. Because people think, oh, that could never happen to me. And it's a good thing. These good things that couldn't happen to me. Good things feel impossible until they aren't. And I think a lot of this depends on if you're glass half full or glass half empty. I'm glass half full. Matter of fact, it's 3/4 of the way full, and we may need another glass. That's why when these things happen to me, it's whoa. Because I didn't expect it. Because I don't expect bad things to happen. A lot of people are built the other way. They just think, bad luck, schlep rock. Good things don't happen to me. Good things happen to other people. Let's talk about that. So there's a big five, the same thing, a big five, and then the rest of the 15. A life-changing salary jump. Hey, if you're willing to do certain things, and I'm not talking about illegal things, although that is in there, it happens. It happened to me. When I relocated one time, my salary doubled. It doubled. Then when I relocated back to the place, I'll just tell you, I went from Chattanooga, Tennessee to Orange County, California. Just the cost of living, boom, salary doubled. How about that? Wow. I never thought I'd make that number. That number doesn't go as far as it does over here. $6 gas versus $2.50 gas. I observed that last week. But it can happen. And then I moved back to Nashville from Orange County. Then I decided that my life was too good in Nashville, so let's move to San Diego. Boom, doubled again. I didn't plan that. I didn't think that could happen to me, but it did. Other things happen. I know people who have been in a job for a long time, and you get that 3% raise every year. And over the years, it adds up. And 10, 15 years later, you never thought you'd be making that. That is a slow climb. But then sometimes they do an adjustment. And I know several people recently who've had a big jump in their pay just because of equity or whatever you want to call it. So that life-changing uppage in pay can happen. And I threw myself off when I said uppage. Oh, I've been in the South a lot lately, guys. Y'all got to give me some slack. Or how about number 2, another one of the big 5, life-changing, man, my glands are overproducing today. Life-changing love. Love don't care about no age brackets. Life-changing love. How many times have you seen that? And sometimes you get broken down with divorce or you get hurt. I know people who, goodness gracious, they just have had some horrible relationships. And then it happens. And I love it. I think it's great. There's somebody out there. I'm telling you. There is somebody out there. You got to believe me. And some people, if you're not open to it, sometimes you miss it. Sometimes you got to kiss a lot of frogs. But when it happens, I can think of 2 or 3 people now, and I'm not going to mention them because they listen. But when it happened, everybody was so happy because they knew what both of these people went through, and boom, they found each other. I know people who've been through their lives and go back to a high school reunion, and somebody they never even considered romantic involvement, and boom, life change. It can happen. Now, if you're married, you probably need to just hang with that one for a little bit longer. We don't want that to create some of that first list, if you know what I'm talking about. We talked about financial ruin earlier, a major financial break. You get an investment to pay off. You get an inheritance. I remember my grandfather, he didn't even have a high school education, but he made it. He was a machinist. He was a farmer. He went back, and I've told the story, so I'm going to tell it again. But when he passed away, he had accumulated a ton of wealth. No one would have ever thought that. He would have never thought it, but he did. Now, man, we're not talking about Rockefeller rich. However, when he and my grandmother passed away, that inheritance, my mother was distraught, thinking about all the sacrifices and everything that he went through to build up this type of estate. And boom, she never thought she'd have that. She never thought she'd have 2 commas in her bank account. It can happen. Real estate. Goodness gracious. My first house was $35,000. That's what it was. And I could tell you that story. It would just blow your mind. But it took a while, and then that was a pain, the bane of my existence, because we moved around, but I couldn't sell that house. And then, boom, something happened. And I got a little bit of money. But also, when we moved back to San Diego, we lived there 10 years. That house doubled in value in 10 years. Never would have dreamed that. That's how we were able to do some things we wouldn't have otherwise because of the spikes and the timing and the market. So a major financial break can happen to you. And it doesn't have to be because you're smart. Doy. But don't think it can't happen to you. Don't get down. It can. Or a career breakthrough. A career. A conversation, an impression you make, a well-timed comment, a great year, a great sell, a thought. You put together a team, or you're on a team that somebody influential is leading, and they single you out as, this person's got potential. There you go. Or maybe you win money. My buddy Neil, I tell you, I don't gamble, but we went gambling, and I think we won at 5 out of 6 tables. Beginner's luck. Yeah, or it could be a crime. But winning money. I don't promote gambling at all, but there's a lot of people who gamble a lot, and then they hit it. How many, look at the lottery, man. People winning the lottery. It can happen. Somebody's got to win it, right? And then there's some other things. That's the big 5. There are other things. Just an unexpected friend. You meet somebody at a place, maybe you didn't even want to go, but you met this person, and there was a connection, and you've been friends for a long time. There are people I'm friends with, lifelong friends with, that were brought to the garage back in the day by one of my friends. I didn't even know them. But just that chance meeting, I don't even remember the close friend I had at the time. I love that. And that's why you keep those close. Good friends, keep them close. They are your lifeblood when the bad stuff happens. And then I've seen people, it can be good things don't happen to you. How about a health comeback? I know a few people, they've been sickly and overweight a lot of their lives, and then something happened. And one of them runs marathons now. The other one does all sorts of things and coaches and a lot of different things because they overcame their health problems. And then some people, they've got a terminal illness. Unfortunately, I know several people who were destined to have a short life. Nope, technology's changed. Medical breakthroughs, pharmaceuticals, different things. They've made a comeback. And you see them and it's, wait, I thought they died. No, they made that comeback. And you hear people with cancer going in remission and all sorts of things. You got to have that drive. Usually when people think they can't recover, that has a lot to do with their lack of recovery. So don't think that can't happen to you. And then the successful side hustles or side businesses that became so lucrative. This is one. But I know a lot of people who it started out, really something bad happened to them, so they did that for extra money, and that turned into being the savior of their financial freedom. It can happen. Just somebody recognizing your talents too. We were at karaoke the other night, and there's a couple of people that, wow, I didn't know they could sing. And when you compliment them, it's as if you gave them $1,000. And that's important to do that as well. However, you may be toiling away in mediocrity at your job, but you're doing a lot. There's a lot that people don't see. And then all of a sudden, you get credit for something. That opens up that career change, maybe that salary jump or whatever, but just that recognition. A lot of people think nobody knows what I'm doing. I was taught, and I've taught this to my kids, hard work always pays off eventually. There's a comma, eventually. And they told me that, and I believe it. People would say, when I was pushing my lawnmower, cutting 26 yards, I didn't know it, but the adults were watching that. And I was known for a work ethic. That followed me. And I just did what I was told and what I thought I should do. But that recognition of those talents as a young teenager in my 20s and 30s, I had no idea. And then boom, there it was. You can land your dream job, and it may come out of nowhere. You may get turned down for your dream job 10 times, but the way you carried yourself and some of these other things, when something came up, now you're being considered. Or maybe the job you wanted that you were turned down for, that wasn't your dream job at all. You just thought it was. But don't think you can't achieve that. That doesn't just happen to other people. It can happen to you. Dave Ramsey does the whole debt-free thing and the freedom. I love it, by the way. Some people think they're so far in debt they'll never get out. Never get out. I know, I'm going to say at least 24 people who were there. It's not going to happen. I'm too deep, too far down. They picked away at it a little at a time. You don't do it by accident. You don't count on winning the lottery to be debt-free. However, having a plan and being diligent and resilient and all these things, it can get you there. And it's glorious. Relocation. Some people have lived in the same spot their whole life, and moving is just unthought of. And here's the sad thing. I'm going to say something sad under the good. You can do it. A lot of people wait till they retire and relocate or do some things they wish they had done earlier, and they think, why have we not been doing this all along? Relocation's never been a problem for Dave. And now even my son relocated. My daughter, they're talking about it. They don't want to let any big cat out of the bag. I wish they'd move here. It'd be so much fun. But anyway, relocating, sometimes you're relocating to something, to a better life. Running from something is a terrible reason to relocate. Running to something, it's fantastic. And it can happen. Don't think it can't. And then, a lot of people that to some degree, you find yourself as someone that's looked up to or somebody that somebody admires or people admire. And it's nice. I'll tell you, I'm not bragging. I had a buddy recently who told me that these are really helping him. And please keep doing it. Dude, I'm going to keep doing it because these are helping me. But being somebody that another person would admire, a lot of people think, oh, nobody would ever do that. Nobody would ever look up to me. I can't see myself, blah, blah, blah. Bull feathers. Yeah, it can happen to you. And honestly, it already has. You just don't know it. And then a lot of people will wait so long for their health or for their fitness or whatever. They'll wait so late. They'll think it's just too late. It's just too late. Let me tell you something, man. It's not. It is not. We're living longer. We're healthier. I covered this all in a different O-Talk. It's one of the reasons the next decade's going to be so great, because no matter your age or situation, you can get some help and you can transform your health at any age. Not just the medical things that they're uncovering and what they can do. My dad was 83 and had a knee replacement and he was walking straight within 2 days when he had been limping for 30 years. Don't think you can't transform your health at any age. And then the 15th one, and this is important. It's very important. A lot of people think that they've established their purpose or they've done this and that's it. And whatever this is. Discovering a new purpose, it is glorious. You don't have to abandon an old one. Discovering a new purpose, a reason to do more, a reason to get up and get at it, a reason to smile more, to anticipate something, to be excited about something new. That's fantastic. And a lot of people think that, I'm pretty much do the same thing, routine every day, in and out. It can even happen to you, buddy. It can even happen to Randy from Eastern Kentucky. He probably thinks none of this stuff can ever happen to him and probably hopes it doesn't happen to me. But I got news for you, Randy. I'm rooting for you. So those are 15 things that people think, it's never going to happen to me. So the question should come, all right, those are good 15. I wish all those would happen to me, Dave, but how do I make that happen? I wish it were that easy. But there are some things you can do to increase your odds of these things happening. Yeah, I said it. So listen. First thing you do, put yourself in more rooms. Put yourself out there a little more. Meet some different people. Go to different places. Put yourself in more rooms. I started to say expose yourself to more people, but if you've got priors, that's probably not a good thing. But be around more and different people that see these things about you. And when you do that, you're probably going to improve your skills, your communication skills. God bless them. I moved my kids around all over the place. We moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times during their school years. They learned how to make friends. They sure did. They got in some more rooms. They sure did. Improved their social skills. So that's what these things can do at any age. Expanding that network on purpose. Saying hi. Just saying hi to somebody or smiling, not in a creepy way, but introduce yourself. Not at a party, at a ball game. My daughter is a social butterfly. My son, he's fantastic too. He's one of the most charismatic people I know. But he's not going to be the first one to talk or go up and introduce himself unless we're at a metal festival. Ooh. And he's at home and he's talking, he's starting conversations. So putting yourself out there, networking on purpose. Just be yourself to more people. And that way, hey, they like it? Great. They don't? It's okay too. That's the grading on a curve. And then take risks. They can be smaller, but do it more consistently. Put yourself out there. If you can get to the point of glorious ambivalence, and if you don't know what that is, that hurts me because I preach it. But you don't get gloriously ambivalent by staying in the same spot and doing this. Take these smaller but consistent risks. Don't go all in. That will give those 15 things a chance to happen to you. And then just realize it can happen. It's not just a fantasy. And do the what if. What if that did happen? What if it did? And if you start to visualize it, I'm not saying you manifest it. That's the new thing. But no, once you visualize it or think it's possible, it's not a fantasy anymore. Yeah, and this changes over time. I got people all ages listening to this. Singapore, by the way, is going through the roof. Singapore's either 2 or 3 right now. So thanks, guys. I hope you can understand redneck because somebody's listening. But no matter what your age, in the 20s, you think bad things can't touch us. In 30s, I'm responsible. I'm overwhelmed. I hope some of the bad stuff's over or almost over. In the 40s, you realize it. Man, it happens. It happens. And you hope it's not devastating enough to destroy what you did in your 30s and early 40s. But you also know, hey, there's some big wins coming in too. In the 50s, I think you get more blindsided by storms. I think they do because you feel like you're settling in. But also those surprises. It evens itself out, taking the good with the bad. 60s, I can tell you, what's it been? 8 months? You feel like you've seen everything? Don't ever say that. Woo, 2025. Dear Lord. But I'm not going to say 2026 has got to be better. I'm not going to do that. So you never have seen everything. Every stage comes with its own blind spots, but it also has its own breakthroughs. And both are very important. So how do we prepare for it? And it's mostly mental. You got the good and the bad. It's going to happen. Then the beautiful thing about a good situation or a bad situation is it's not going to last. This too shall pass. So it helps us stay adaptable. And that's important. Once you've been through some stuff, here's what I do when this happens. Or here's what I learned from the last time it happened. Here's what I learned from when it happened to a friend. Or I thought about this, good or bad, and here's that fantasy or that preparation that became real. So stay adaptable. But, big but, shouldn't use the word but, keep your identity flexible. Don't be pigeonholed into one thing and either by yourself or others, but no, you know what? I don't have to be this way. I don't have an obligation to pigeonhole myself. I can change. I can do different things. I am not Will and Victoria's dad. I am not Hank, Ruby, and Waylon or Willie's. I'm not their pet owner. I'm definitely not Stephanie's husband, but I can keep my identity flexible because I know who I am. And I can be flexible. If you pigeonhole yourself into one identity, you're not going to allow yourself to be flexible. And that's important when things happen, good or bad. Another thing, I don't like surprises. I don't like them. Even good surprises sometimes. It's rough. I'm a planner. I'm a preparer. And I didn't plan on this and I sure didn't prepare for it. Good or bad. If you're going to do it, though, give me a good one. But learn to expect them. In tennis, we would, when we play it, I haven't done this in a long time, but we would be at the net and we're volleying. You don't know if it's going to be right at you, backhand, forehand, whatever. So you're on your toes and that way you can expect anything and adapt quickly, but you expect the surprises. And if you expect it, then it's not a surprise, right? Then you got to treat. I talked about don't be a victim, be a beneficiary. Also, don't see it as a setback. See it as a setup. Now I know I went all Pollyanna on you. And, David, when you're in the throes of this, this is how I think you talk. David, when you're in the throes of this, you can't always be positive. Yeah, I know. But when you go through it and you think about it and that what lesson will I learn from this that I would not have learned otherwise? That's the setup part. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt or pound you in the ground. All right, but if this is preparing me for what? This is an opportunity to do something else. That's the setup part. And then just stay available for possibilities. It's there. So many people don't get the blessing because they're focused on the curse. Stay available for possibilities. And I'll go back to the Chinese farmer. I get a lot of requests to retell this story, but so I will. The Chinese farmer principle. And the whole thing is, if good news or bad news. The farmer, Chinese farmer, him and his son lived together, and his horse ran away. And everyone has said, oh, that's horrible. That's such bad luck. And he said, maybe. We'll see. He's a farmer. That horse was everything. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Then the next day, the horse came back with 2 more horses. And the villager said, oh, this is great. Oh, you're so fortunate. And he said, maybe. We'll see. And then the next day, the son was trying to break one of the horses, tame one of the new wild horses, and kicked him off and broke his leg. And everybody was like, oh, that's horrible. He's your only other person to help you with your farming. Farmer said, maybe. We'll see. Then that following week, some members of the army came by, taking every able-bodied young man and putting him in the service to fight. They saw his son had a broken leg, and they skipped over him because his leg was broken. Good luck, bad luck? Maybe. We'll see. So that story, it's centuries old. It is so true. So things you think can't happen to you, if they do, oh, that's horrible. Maybe. We'll see. Don't let it define you. Things that feel horrible today, they may be saving you from something. They may be setting you up for something great. Things that feel fantastic today, that might be a challenge. That might be something that tests you. Nothing's final. Nothing is fully defined. Not with humans, I'm telling you that. So perspective, it takes time. And you have to apply that. And the earlier you learn to do that, the better off you'll be. Your breakup might be clearing room for that right person. Maybe. We'll see. Your job loss may shove you toward a role you were just too comfortable to chase. You're in a comfort zone. You're going to ride this through retirement. Nope, you got fired. Now you're going to the role you were made for. That final crisis might force you into some discipline that changes your entire future. Your finances blown up in your 20s or 30s. All right. That set you up for things that wouldn't have happened later or opportunities that can happen now. So that blessing might bring responsibility you weren't expecting. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. So your success might test your character harder than your failure ever did. That's why comfort zones, being satisfied, being negative, being too optimistic, those are all traps that these things, when they happen, it's help. It helps you. Bad might be good, good might be bad. We simply don't know yet. And that's why we prepare. We don't panic. We hope, but don't assume. We trust the long story, not just one chapter. You got to roll with the changes. Life is so unpredictable. Yeah, but it isn't punishment. It's proof that you're still going, you're still doing, and there's more to do. That the storms you fear may never hit. The blessings that you assume are out there, you may assume they're out of reach. They're already headed your way and you don't even know it. And that heartbreak, whether it's a heartbreak or a windfall that show up, might not be what they seemed at first. So your freaking job is to stay prepared. Stay open. Stay humble enough to let that story unfold. Don't live in denial. It can happen to you, good or bad. But don't live in fear. Don't count yourself out. And don't pretend you're the exception to the good or the bad. Life is going to shock you. It may shock you with pain. It may shock you with joy, stun you with both of those. It's going to trick you. It's going to disguise blessings as disasters. And it's going to hide little miracles in your setbacks that take time. So prepare for the bad, position yourself for the good, and then when life shifts and you're going along, you may just want to knock on wood. Wake up those wood fairies. But the main thing is keep going forward. Don't give up. Good news? Bad news? Maybe. We'll see. Thanks so much for joining today. It's just got through with Thanksgiving. My heart is so full. And so my message comes from one of Thanksgiving and positivity and optimism. It's out there. It's out there. So hit me up, david@otalks.com, david@otalks.com. Go to otalks.com. Tons of stuff on there. Check it out. Oh, got some new merch coming. I shouldn't order this stuff sometimes in the state that I'm in because I get excited and just order a whole bunch. It's on the way. Some more hats and shirts with a new slogan. Be looking for that. Thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks for hanging on. But most of all, thanks for O-Talking with Dave. Giddy up.